Where do I begin? For starters, this was another one I used to pass up at the video store. I used to think the subtitle, The Second Story, referred to the second story of the same house. Like, there was part of the house we didn't get to explore in the first movie. But no, they went the anthology route, and this is a completely different story. So that's what the title means. It's literally the second story of an anthology series. And I wouldn't put this in the same category as the first film. Not really. It really doesn't even qualify as a horror movie. This is something you'd see in, like, The Never-Ending Story. You want to know what the plot is? Well, it's got two friends, an old gunslinging zombie, a caterpillar dog, and a baby pterodactyl, all traveling to different time periods in order to find a crystal skull, which is the only thing keeping the zombie alive. Speaking of crystal skulls, that's interesting, isn't it? This movie has more in common with Indiana Jones than the first House movie does. The only similarity it has is that it takes place in a big house that has passageways to alternate dimensions. And like I said, they're actually different places in time, like the prehistoric era, ancient Egypt, and the Old West. The film starts in the 60s with two parents giving up their infant child before they get attacked by Slim, a zombie gangster who also originated from the Old West, and who's also looking for the skull. 25 years later, the infant, now a grown man named Jesse, moves into this huge house with his girlfriend. He finds a picture of his great-great-grandfather in front of a Mayan temple holding one of the crystal skulls and figures the skull was buried with him. Jesse and his annoying friend Charlie dig up his great-great-grandfather, who ends up still being alive thanks to the skull. Gramps warns Jesse to keep an eye on the skull, but during a Halloween party, a giant caveman comes in and takes the skull back to the prehistoric age. Jesse and Charlie, finding a jungle in one of the rooms of the house, enter the time period where they get attacked by a pterodactyl before going after the caveman and retrieving the skull. The stop motion on the dinosaurs is fascinating here. Again, this is a pretty heavy creature movie, although the effects on the pterodactyls are very family-friendly, like something you'd see on the dinosaur sitcom.
I'm the baby, brand new, just out. Gotta love me. Come on, gotta love me.
Not long after that, Gramps allows a couple of thugs to run off with the skull again. This time, a wily electrician named Bill shows up to redo Jesse's wiring and finds a portal that leads them to a Mayan temple where the thuggy cult prepares to sacrifice a young virgin. Bill, the electrician, enters the fray to help the boys out, and after they make their daring escape, Bill reveals that he's a professional electrician and adventurer.
There it is. Looks like you got some kind of alternate universe in there or something.
In the final act, Jesse faces off against the reincarnated Slim, who, of course, has come back for his skull. After another chase through a big house, Jesse prevails, only to find that Gramps is dying.
I love you, Gramps. I love you too, Jesse.
Pretty emotional for a film about a bunch of time-traveling goofballs. Alright, I have to admit I had no idea what I was in for, but I really didn't expect this. The quality of the filmmaking is something you'd see on Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark, not a hard R gore fest. To be fair, the original film was kind of kid-friendly too, but at least that one had horror elements. The film is more silly than it is funny, and technically it's not a good movie, but I also have to admit I was having fun watching it. I typically have a hard time wrapping my head around movies that are so bad they're good, but I really think this is one of those movies. There's actually a lot of recognizable talent here. Lar Park Lincoln plays Jesse's girlfriend Kate, and Amy Yazbek, who played Maid Marian in Robin Hood Men in Tights, plays Charlie's significant other. For you Killer Clowns fans, Royal Dano, who played Farmer Green in that film, stars as Gramps.
He sure is a pansy. He wouldn't have lasted 10 minutes back in the old days.
It also features a young Bill Maher and John Ratzenberger, who you might recognize as the voice of Hammy the Piggy Bank in the Toy Story movies, actually plays Bill the electrician.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that, Jess. Didn't look too valuable.
And don't forget, Kane Hodder was the stunt coordinator for this film, so there you go. Is it Halloween-worthy? Even though there isn't a lot of horror, the effects and the goofiness makes it something the whole family can sit and enjoy. So pop in your favorite Friday the 13th film, follow it with House 2, and I'd say you've got yourself an okay night.